Oh, yeah. The year 1996 brought about so many good movies. We're talking about Scream and the most infamous of all films from 1996, Leprechaun 4 in Space. Directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, who did such films as Stunt Rock, Dead and Driving, and BMX Bandits. Oh, and this is a cheesy one. We're talking about Warwick Davis playing Leprechaun, breaking that fourth wall and making a lot of daddy jokes throughout this film. Oh, yeah. Welcome to BodyBags. I'm your Thursday reviewer, Chris, from Chris B Movies. You know my name is Chris. And you know I love B Movies. And I love the cheese. And Leprechaun in Space brings the cheese. Come on, listen to the title. There was Leprechaun 1, there's Leprechaun 2, then Leprechaun in the Hood, and Leprechaun in Space. No, not Muppets in Space, but we're talking about the Leprechaun, played by Warwick Davis. This film is batshit nuts. Some of the characters in this film are absolutely friggin' hysterical. I'm going to give you a little synopsis about this film. So you got some Marines on this spaceship, and they're battling aliens. They just want to rid the world of aliens. But hopping on board that ship was the Leprechaun, who abducted this queen. See, he wants to marry the queen, show her all the bling bling, all the gold that he has, marry her and become king, ruler of the world. But in the process of the Marines battling the aliens, they come across the Leprechaun. And he takes out a couple of their guys, and now it's a full-on war. These Marines are bad to the bone, and they're going to shoot up and try to kill Leprechaun so he doesn't make any more ridiculous sequels like Leprechaun in the Hood. But we know that's not the truth, because we know Leprechaun in the Hood and Leprechaun in the Hood Part 2 came out, and Leprechaun Origins, and then a new Leprechaun film here and there came out. So you know that this is not the end of the Leprechaun. Although you must watch the ending. The ending is so choice. Absolutely hysterical. This was meant to be a comedy. It was not meant to be taken seriously. There's some good kills here. Now let's look at some of the characters in here. Metalhead, he's the sergeant. He's the leader of this group of Marines out to slaughter aliens and the Leprechaun. In a previous war, in a previous battle, he had half his head blown off, and now he has this big metal piece covering the part of the head that's missing. I am not kidding you on this one. His performance is completely over the top, played by Tim Collin, and he looks absolutely ridiculous. But it's such a blast seeing this dude with half his head cut off and a metal piece just inserted there. But we find out a little bit more about Mr. Metalhead. We find out he may not all be what he's cracked up to be. He may be something totally different. And that's not going to spoil a darn thing, because you really need to watch this film. There is also, in this film, the Princess Zarina is played by Rebecca Carlton, of course. And, of course, Dr. Mittenhand. You gotta see this dude to believe him. Played by Guy Siner. I don't know how to describe this guy, but let's just say he had most of his body blown off and now he's attached to a computer. But he's a true intellect, and he has his little lackey Harold, who loves women and forgets about the science of what he's trying to achieve in the laboratory, and most of his focus is on the pretty women that are on board. Let's just put it that way. The gore is over the top. The blood, the deaths are all over the top. There's a scene where the Leprechaun injects himself into one of the Marines' bodies, and if you got kids watching, move them out right now, okay? The Leprechaun pops right out of the guy's penis while he's trying to make it on with one of the other Marine girls. Absolutely friggin' hysterical. So the death scenes are over the top but fun. The gore is fun and aplenty. It's a fun film and not meant to be taken seriously. It's a true comedy. And of course, Warwick Davis always breaking the fourth wall, making them daddy jokes, them one-liners. You know, he sticks someone to something and, hey, stick around, you know? Just corny stuff like that. Very corny film, but a fun film. And if you've seen every Leprechaun film, you know about Leprechaun in Space. Yes. The best thing about it is that it was made in 1996. This theme week right here, devoting to all films from 1996. Cheesy as hell. I'm putting this one on the cheeseometer. 10 being the best cheese you'll ever have, 1 being the worst. I give it a solid 7. It's a blast. But if you don't like corny daddy jokes, you might bypass some of the jokes of this film. But Warwick Davis looks great. He acts great. He plays the Leprechaun to the T. And everybody else is just over the top and batshit insane, and their acting is like completely way over the top. Absolutely hysterical film. I laughed all the way through it. It's an hour and 35 minutes. That Robo welcomes its stay. It's just a blast. And the ending is absolutely hysterical and hilarious. I had so much fun watching this film, and you will too if you get this set. Either on Blu-ray or DVD. I got this as a gift. How cute. And Leprechaun 4, Leprechaun in Space. And that's it for this week. Check out all the other reviews because they're all doing films from 1996. A great year for film, guys. You know it, and I know it. And the world knows it. And again, check me out next week because, hey, you never know what I'm going to bring, but I'm going to bring something fun. And I'm going to dress up in a fun little suit attire, so to speak. So check that out next week. But please, don't forget to watch those late night horror movies. Read up on your latest Fright Mags. But don't forget to tune in to another episode of the show we call